Consider the following partial class declaration. Okay, so we have some class here. We have three variables, my A, my B, my C. And we have some methods. We have getA and we have setB. Now this question is asking about which code segment will compile without any error. And there's two answers specifically. So out of all of these answer choices, there are only two of them that will actually not cause any compiler errors. The other ones will cause a compiler error. Now, one of the answers is answer choice A. Because notice that it's calling the method getA. And notice that getA is empty parentheses. This matches the definition. If we look at the getA method definition, we see that getA has empty parentheses, which means that it is not going to take in any values. In comparison with setB, for example, which in the definition, we see that it accepts an integer value when you call it. So when I call setB, I pass in an integer value, like calling setB 5, for example. But when I call getA, in the definition, notice there is nothing in the parentheses, which means that when you call it, you just call it with empty parentheses. So for this reason, both E and F are both incorrect because they are both trying to call getA and pass in some value, which is not allowable since, again, getA is empty parentheses. The other one that will not work here is getA, even though it's being called with an empty parenthesis. But the reason why this one will not work is because it's calling getA using some class. Now, getA is a non-static variable, or excuse me, non-static method, okay? Notice that in the definition, in the header, in the method header, we do not see any keyword static. So that means that getA is what is considered non-static. Again, in comparison with setB right below it, it has the keyword static. So setB is actually static. And what does that mean? Static means that it is at the class level, okay? So you can use the class to call the method. But not static is at the object level, which means that an object is required for you to go ahead and call the method or use the method. It requires an object. So for that reason, again, getA is not static, so I must call it with an object. Okay, so an object is created, so that object can then call the method. I would not be able to then call getA using the class, again, because getA is non-static. Lastly, we have B, which is incorrect. And that is because notice that is setB, no parenthesis. On answer choice C, which is correct, you have my A, no parenthesis. But here's the problem. This is why setB is incorrect. My A is fine. My A is, in fact, actually a variable, right? And so it doesn't need parentheses. But setB is not a variable that was declared. There is no setB variable. So if you're trying to call the method setB, you have to put parentheses and you have to pass in an integer. So if instead answer choice B was, setB maybe with a parenthesis and passing in 5, okay, that would be more correct. But is not only is it not, missing parentheses is a method, it's not taking in an integer value, which is another problem. So, so that's why B is incorrect. So A and C are the only two that will compile without error.